Number 5. Andrew Danziger. Andrew Danziger was a former pilot for US President Barack Obama during his 2008 campaign tour. According to him, virtually all pilots believe in UFOs. In April 1989, Andrew was flying between Kansas and Iowa when he saw a white disc flying through the sky. The white disc then changed into a giant red ball and glowed between 30 seconds before vanishing into the clouds. Both Danziger and the captain, who was also in the cockpit, saw the alien craft for 40 minutes before it began to change color and disappeared. He said, "It looks similar to the moon, faintly visible through thin fog, except the two were visible at the same time." According to Danziger, when he reported the sighting, he was told that many pilots often spot unidentified flying objects and that they weren't supposed to talk about it.
There was no formal policy at my airline or any airline I've ever worked for that said not to talk about it, but it was kind of unwritten.
Number 4. Guernsey UFO. On April 23, 2007, Captain Ray Boyer was at the controls of a tri-lander passenger plane approaching Alderney, near the island of Guernsey, when he noticed something odd in the sky. A cigar-shaped bright yellow object about 40 miles away, sitting completely motionless. Boyer estimated that the object was about the size of Boeing 737, but later changed his mind and said it could have been much larger, about a mile long. The object was visible for 9 minutes and was perfectly still throughout. Passengers in the plane also saw the mysterious object, but no one managed to take a photograph of the UFO. Another pilot also spotted the same object from the opposite side. When Boyer contacted air traffic control in Jersey and asked if it had picked the unidentified object, he was told they hadn't. It's not a surprise since radar cannot detect an unmoving object. Boyer also spotted another UFO a few miles away to the west and considered getting close to it, but ultimately decided that the safety of the passengers was his first responsibility. Number 3. Japan Airlines Flight 1628. On the afternoon of November 17, 1986, Japan Airlines Flight 1628, with a crew of 3, was nearing the end of a trip from Iceland to Anchorage, Alaska. At 6 p.m., Kenjo Terauchi, the aircraft's pilot, noticed white and yellow lights ahead, below, and to the left of his airplane. Unable to see clearly through the darkness, he assumed the lights were those of a military aircraft. The mysterious lights continued to pace the 747, leaving Officer Takanori Tamifuji to radio Anchorage Air Traffic Control and ask if there are other aircraft in the vicinity. The radar only showed a green target, a color usually associated with rain, not a red that he would have expected from a reflective solid object. The lights suddenly began to move erratically, and after several minutes, started shooting off lights that lit the cockpit with a warm glow. As the plane passed over Alston Air Force Base, the captain noticed a dark silhouette of a gigantic mothership, larger than 2 aircraft carriers, looming behind his airplane. He took his plane around in a complete circle and then descended to 3,100 feet, but the object still followed him through both maneuvers. A United Airlines flight and military C-130 both tried to intercept Flight 747 to confirm the sighting, but Terauchi reported that the UFOs had disappeared. After the incident, Japan Airlines 1628 attracted widespread public attention and has helped make this incident one of the most widely reported UFO cases in history. Number 2. The 1952 Washington UFO Incident. On July 19, 1952, Washington National Airport and Andrews Air Force picked up a number of UFOs on the radar screens. These unidentified objects were traveling at about 100 miles per hour, but are also capable of accelerating to speeds of up to 7,200 miles per hour. Andrews Air Force notified the U.S. Air Force Air Defense Command, and a couple of F-94 night fighters were ordered to the skies, but by the time they were airborne, the mysterious objects were gone. After the fighters returned home, the objects appeared again on radar screens. The fighters tried to chase it to no avail. Whenever they tried to approach it, the lights of the unknown objects would darken. After a quiet week, the objects reappeared again on July 26. Several F-94s again began their search for the UFOs, but the results were the same to the week before. Although the unidentified objects have been picked up on the radar before, the two incidents are believed to be the first time the objects have been picked up by the radar while visible to the human eye. One jet pilot reported that he had no apparent closing speed when he tried to reach the lights he saw near Andrews Air Force Base, meaning the lights were moving at least as fast as his top speed of 600 miles per hour. The official explanation was temperature inversions, which supposedly caused ground lights to bounce off the clouds, giving the appearance of lighted crafts in the skies. Others dismissed this, as these blips were distinctly clear and traveled at unimaginable speeds. Number 1. The Boac Incident. Captain James Howard was in command of a British Overseas Airways Corporation Boeing Stratocruiser on June 29, 1954, while crossing the St. Lawrence Estuary near Seven Islands, Quebec, flying 1900 feet above a broken cloud. Captain Howard saw objects moving at the same speed as them, 3 to 4 miles to its northwest. Captain Howard and the crew had enough time to study the objects accompanying the airliner. Some passengers also witnessed the strange objects. These were described as having one large object and 6 smaller globular things. The small ones were said to have been strung out in a line, 3 ahead and 3 behind the large one, sometimes 2 ahead and 4 behind, and so on. The large object also slowly changed its shape. Its appearance is said to be opaque and gray, hard-edged with no lights or visible flames. Captain Howard decided to request information from control after being within the range of VHF radio of Goose Bay, Labrador. The control told them that they had sent an F-94 on patrol and would vector it towards them. Howard suddenly noticed the small objects had disappeared. The navigator told him that they appeared to converge on and enter the large one. As the F-94 approached, the large object started to dwindle in size until it eventually disappears. After the incident, they were told that there had been several other sightings in Labrador area recently. Several explanations were suggested, like how the sighting might have been a large flock of starlings or other anomalous bird migration. However, the birds would then be flying at a very high altitude, and it's impossible for it to keep up with the plane speed for a long period of time.